Thank you, Gurupra. Thanks for the very generous introduction. Good afternoon, Ahmedabad. How are you guys doing? I think it's always good to see young, enthusiastic developers, entrepreneurs. Looking at you guys now, it reminds me about 10 years back in the Bay Area. It's a similar setup it was when it was early on the internet days. There itself, there was a lot of euphoria on the online at that time. It was a nascent stage. People were finding out what models we want to do, what are the different business models we can bring on online. Now coming to the mobile, 10 years, 12 years down the lane, I see the same kind of enthusiasm, same kind of stuff which is going on mobile as well. Plus with the difference, which is now mobile apps have really taken to a new dimension. Mobile as a medium, we all know it's redefining the marketing world, and mobile apps is going to be there for a long. I'm going to focus this presentation more on the app monetization. Some of the earlier speakers, they have talked about what are the different models to monetize the app. I'm going to restrict this presentation on the advertising world of monetization and talk about traditional ad network way of monetization versus what are the new platforms we can go ahead for monetization. So here we have an app developer. I mean, here we have developed an app. We have done the user study. We have developed a very killer app. And now comes the million-dollar question as to how do we monetize this app. This is a very simple model which I've just put in, which everyone relate to this, where you work with one ad network, and the ad network in turns work with the multiple advertisers and serve the ads, and thereafter we have a revenue share arrangement, and the revenue is generating for the app developer. But there are definitely a lot of pitfalls in this approach. Some of these most of you guys already know. I mean, why do you want to put all the eggs in the same basket? We know that advertising is not a single ad network which can fulfill the ad requests 24/7, 365 days a year. So why rely on just a one demand source? And that is the reason why you have in each geography more than 10 or 20 active demand sources, whether they are small media agencies, large ad networks, niche ad networks. But these are the different demand sources which are available, and as a mobile app developer, we need to access them so that our app is monetized to the best. In the marketing, what matters a lot is how the advertiser is perceiving your app. How there's a different point of view when you develop the app. You have developed a very great app. You have looked into user acquisition. You feel these are the kind of users which are going to use it, and probably this makes more sense to work with a particular ad network. But the reality may not be the true. And it's the market which determines the monetization of an app. That could be quite different than what you are thinking of, because there are different kinds of ad networks or demand sources. There are ad networks which are location specific. There are ad networks which are doing a profile-based targeting. There are ad networks which are doing a very generic and a blind-based targeting. So how, as an app developer, I reach out to all these guys and make sure I monetize my app to the fullest. to minimize the risk, as I talked about this, the best way is to reach out to as many of the demand sources as possible. So now there are platforms which are available which will let you reach out to these demand sources very effectively. I've categorized this on left side 3 different kind of demand sources, which is direct sales or the direct sales for a particular ad network. Then you have ad network relationships which you can have with the different demand sources. And then the last but not the least is the RTB. I will going to talk a little bit more on RTB in the succeeding slides. But this essentially covers the entire gamut of the demand sources which is available on the advertising side. What we need is a platform which is connected to all these different demand sources, which optimizes these demand sources, and for each ad request it decides what is the best ways to monetize this particular inventory. Then and then only the app can be monetized to the fullest. What it results is in better CPMs, better revenue, the higher fill rate, and there is a one-stop integration for such an approach. We can always argue that what if I work with 2-3 ad networks? Is it good enough? On a mobile on a particular app, what we have seen is usually an app is not restricted to just one geography. We have seen for a better monetization of an app, you need to at least monetize the top 4-5 geographies very well. Then and only then you will be able to maximize the revenue. And in each geographies, we are talking about at least 4 or 5 different demand sources which are active, which are the strongest on those geographies. Such platforms let you connect to these demand sources and monetize the app more effectively. So since we talk about the market, one of the best ways in the market to monetize or to establish the market value of a good is through the auctioning. That is what the traditional way it has been done, and it's still being done. I mean, there is on the online world as well, we see that auctioning works very well. And in the mobile advertising world, on the demand advertising world, this technology is already taken into the new frontiers. So how many guys have heard about RTB, real-time bidding? So what this real-time bidding does is now you can segment the user based on the different profiles, and you are connected to an exchange, and that exchange is in turn connected to a lot of the different DSPs, which are the demand side partners. They are bidding for that particular request. And the interesting thing is the whole transaction happens in the real time. So imagine that there's an app, there's a user which is going towards a Starbucks, and then there is a very niche player on the demand side who wants to focus to that particular user, and he is willing to pay the extra dollar for that particular user. Such kind of scenarios can be captured very well by having a platform which is integrated with the different DSPs. And that's what it results in the higher monetization for the app developers. On a simple scenario, just simplified this. There's a simultaneous bidding is happening, and at the end, the exchange decide who is the winning bidder, and the ad response of that particular bidder is served. So in a nutshell, what are the benefits of such a integrated platform? We have minimized the risks. We are not depending on one particular demand source. It's a plug-and-play solution. We don't have to go and chase to the 100 different demand sources, have a relationship with them, embed their SDKs, and then work with them. There's a easy optimization tools which are available, and what it results in the higher fill rate and the better revenues. And last but not the least, it is a SaaS-based solution, so you don't have to do any investment in terms of doing the integration at your side. The entire integration is done at the server side, and the app developers is only charged, or only so either they charge in CPM, or this or the other model that we work is based on the revenue share. The other benefits is this is not just a platform which makes your app or your app inventory available to the different demand sources. It's a smart platform which optimizes it. It optimizes on a different criteria. It segments your inventory based on the geographies, based on the carriers, based on the inventory type, based on creatives, and then maximize the overall revenue generation capabilities. Over the successive, in the following slide, I will quickly go over what are the different monetization, what are the different integration options which are available, and that is applicable to our platform of AdIQuity. There's an ad wrapper, which we call it the ads envelope. There's an instant monetization option is available. You don't need to do any code changes, and of course you can do the app monetization using it in-app advertising, whether it's a pre-roll, post-roll, interstitial, or the regular banners. The platform runs the relevant ads. There's a nice analytics which is available for the app developers to look into how is the performance of their app is, look at the user engagement level of their app. And I will leave you guys with this slide which talks about the company overall. So we are working with a lot of publishers across the globe. We have already all the global demand tie-ups which are in place, integrated with over more than 100 global ad partners, and which is supplemented by the global sales teams. And we have a superior technology infrastructure which is available. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.